Hi, this is G-Man Trading Community. My friend, we have come from far. We know a lot when it comes to CFD. We have learned about lots, we have learned about pips, we have learned the history of it. Like we remember, the banks were the one who came with this model of counting pips and lots. But before that, we knew that the stock market was the one which was using this model, which is called contract for difference, when they were trading the stock market. So before we came here to value, we had to learn how to read currencies, the rates, and to know base currency and quote currency, then currency letter representation. So, and we have learned all that. If you haven't learned, go back to our previous video, which is about that. So let's go on so that we can save time. So in our previous lesson, we learned about currency rates, naming, and base currency and quote currency. So we know the currency rates, that is the prices, and we know the naming, which are now the three letters, which two of them represent the country and the last one represent the name of that currency of that country. Now we know the base currency, which doesn't change whatsoever the price, and the quote currency is the one changes. So the quote currency, it's the one which is buying the base currency, and when you sell the base currency, the quote currency is what you gonna get. So let's go on. Now I need you to know that currency have decimal places because they have no fixed rate. Like we said, from the Bretton Woods collapse, now currency move freely or float freely. So they have decimal places, and that's the reason why we found out that the banks had to come to in a way to count the price movement using pips as the last number in a rate. Rate is the price. So major pairs and mostly have 4 decimal places. Example, GBP USD, which it is maybe trading at 1.7500. So you could see now these are 4 decimal places, which this is a dollar, which is buying the base currency. So it is $1.75 and 00. You could see this 0. So it is represented like this. The rate is on like this globally. So except the JPY pair, which have 2 decimal places. Example, USD JPY, which is trading at 150.59. So you need 150.59 cents to buy one base currency of dollar using the yen. So this is the yen's amount of yen which you will have to pay so that you can get one base currency of this dollar at that time. So now, after knowing that, we need fraction so that we can calculate the pips value. We need fraction so that we can be able to calculate the pip value. So let's go on. How to read them like fractions. So you could see a little example here. Because in this model of CFD, you could see a lot of things has been simplified. When it comes to market execution and we are using lots, the reason is now to eliminate a lot of these zeros. Maybe to say I want to buy $2 million. No. You can simplify by dividing by 10 to get the number of lots which you could like to buy. So you could say I need 10 lots. I need 2 lots. So you are 2 lots, 200,000, 10 lots, 1 million, just like that. So you could see now here from this side, as we know about price value, from this side going to the left, we talk about ones, tens, hundreds, and something like that. And when we are going to the left, you know, because we want to know the last number, which is the pip, like what I have been teaching about pips. So Here we have how many decimal? We have 4 decimal places. So this is tenth, hundreds, thousands, and tens of thousands. So pip is a tens of thousand. And you remember we had to multiply 100 cent in a whole standard unit, multiply by 100 pips, which are found in a single cent, to get 10,000 pips in a single unit. Just for a single unit to move from 1 to 2, you have 10,000 pips. So you could see this is what we get, and this is the representation is tens of thousands of pips. So let's go on. This is a little explanation so that everyone can understand. Now with decimals, the next step is to look for a pair and late to count decimal places and start looking for a pip value. We are going on. Note there is different in calculation when dollar is base and the quotes. So when the dollar is the base currency, the calculation are different when it is in the quote currency. So when the dollar is the base currency and when it is in the quote currency, we'll start when the dollar is the base currency. So let's go on. As each currency has its own value, it is necessary to calculate the value of a pip for that particular currency. In currencies where dollar is quoted first, the calculation would be as follow. Let's take USD JPY, let's at 119.80. Notice this currency pair only goes 2 decimal places. Most of the other currencies have 4 decimal places. So in this case, USD JPY, 1 pip would be at 2 decimal places. 2 decimal places, so it would be 0.01. As you can see, it has 2 decimal places, and this is what we're gonna get when it comes to decimal. So therefore, USD JPY is 119.80. So what we are going to do, the formula is this. So you take the decimal places, the place value, you divide by exchange rate to get the pip value. So, and this is what we're gonna do. The decimal places are 2, so the place value is 0.01 divided by the rate, which is 119.80. This is the number you'll get, but using your calculator you'll see a different, whereby you will have 8.34 and a lot of numbers. Don't worry, because it looks like a very long number, but later we'll discuss lot size. This looks like a long number, but later we'll discuss lot size. When you are using a calculator just for validation, you will see you will not see this number, but literally it's always the same, because you'll get 8.3 something, and don't worry about that. But we have that's the pip value, and when we multiply with the lots or the money, you'll see a very big magic which would happen in the market. So let's go on. So let's take USD CHF, which maybe is trading at 1.5250, which now we have 4 decimal places. So the place value of 0.001 divided by exchange rate is equals to pip value. So take the places value, you divide by the rate, which is this one. This is what you will get. But using your calculator, as I have been repeating, this is not the number you will get. You will get 6.5 something going on, and don't worry about all those numbers. This is the real calculation that is done by the machine, but you don't have to do this, but it is easy. You must know this, so that when the machine is counting a lot of people, you'll not struggle, because the formula of what the machine is doing, it is already in your mind. Take something like USD CAD. We know how to read these currencies. USD CAD, now I'm talking about US dollar versus Canadian dollar. So maybe it is trading at 1.48 4890. So take the decimals. How many decimals do you have? You have 4 decimal places, so you divide by exchange rate, you find the pip value. So, and this is the formula, and this is the practicality of it. So, and this is the figure that we'll get, and you'll have to using your calculator. If you take 0.001, you divide by 1.4890, you'll get 6.715 and a lot of numbers, but don't worry about them. They will be very simple when we mix with money. So we are on another phase. In case where the dollar is not quoted fast and we want to get the US dollar value, we have to add one more step. Now you have seen, when the dollar is the base currency, we haven't added anything. It's just the prices value divided by exchange rate, and now we get our pip value. But when the dollar is the quote currency, now let's see how the formula works. So we have Euro USD. Now the dollar is the quote currency, so you need $1.2200 to buy 1 euro at this point. So how many decimal places do we have? 4 decimal places. Divided by exchange rate is equals to the place value. This is the same as this one. So let's go on. Now we take the decimal places, divide by the rate. This is the number that we'll get, which using your own calculator, as I've been repeating, is that you'll get 8.196 and a lot of numbers. So but we need to get back to US dollar, so we add another calculation, which is euro multiplied by exchange rate. So now this is our pip value, but we need to get back to US dollar, so we need another calculation, which is euro multiplied by exchange rate. So now we have this as our pip value, so we'll multiply by exchange rate again, and this is the number that we'll get. And how many decimal places do we have? We have 4, so you just round off 1, you'll get 0.01, because this is 9. So when rounded up, it would be 0.01. And if you have your own calculator, you can divide this. You'll get, take a dollar, maybe today's rate. How many pip value do you have? So take prices value, you divide by exchange rate, that would be the pip value, and then the pip value multiplied by something like lot. But now that's where we are going, as we mix lots and pips value, so that we can get the magic. So let's go on, my friend. Now we have lot, pips, and their values. Next step is to combine with the lots, and now every pip will be worth money depending on lot size. So now we want our pip value to be worth money. Our pip value will be worth money as the money is exchanged between the two currencies. Now every pip will be worth money. You'll know when you are trading maybe currency where dollar is the quote, you know how much you would pay for every position of or every pips that moves in the market. So, and we'll be able to calculate profit and loss. So see you in the next video, my friend. We have learned a lot. At this point now, you know how to calculate the pip value. Now we have the pip value. Now we want to combine lots and pips, and we see the magic that will happen in this market. And you see how a lot of money, why the forex industry is the most liquid market in the world. And consider subscribing, and if you have any question, you should ask in the comment section. If you need me to do another video or explain something deeper, I'll be here for you. So thank you very much.